All right. Welcome back to the final part of Stranger Things. This is round three. And once again, as always, I am joined by Bobby Shouse Baby, and we are ready to talk all things Stranger Things finale. It has officially come to an end. It has come to a close. The entire series. It's not just the season. This is the end. I'm sure who knows? They'll make spin-offs, who knows? But the main storyline, this is the ending. And wow, what an ending it was. A little over 2 hours. And definitely very excited to talk about it. Bobby, Happy New Year's. And as always, kick us off, baby. Just initial thoughts. What did it live up, right? I mean, we both were more down on part two than part one. And I think a lot of people were. And I've seen some people down on this finale, but I think for the most part, people are enjoying it. So, with that, give me your thoughts.
Man, first of all, Happy New Year to you and everyone watching.
Yeah.
Awesome year coming up. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
But no, man, I think that I'll start off with saying this because this is the best way I've thought about it. And obviously I'm not rewatching the season yet. I really need to let it. I'm kind of like, I was nervous. I thought I'd miss the show a lot. Just so nostalgic. It ended up being such a part of our lives that I had no clue was these random kids were going to be. But I am kind of relieved too. I think now that it's over, I'm kind of relieved, a little, like, take a breath, But I think that the parts kind of messed it up in our eyes because it was weird, right? It was cut up in a certain way where, like, the first one was so incredible, then the second one was just like storytelling, and then we got the finale. So I think that when you watch it all together as one piece of work, I think it'll be a lot better, more solid, instead of like we did what we had to do. I mean, that's how they gave it to us, but we digested it in the parts and it was kind of weird. I think it'd be better watching from start to finish. But all in all, I thought they landed the plane. I mean, I think that, there'll be some gripes. We could talk about some plot holes and, you obviously are going to wish this or wish that. But when you step back and you think about it as a viewer, certain things needed to happen and they stuck to those things, and you got to respect that. But we'll get into all the details. But all in all, I thought they landed the plane. I thought it was very cinematic. I thought it was very
Yes.
like, dude, it felt like watching the Avengers. I mean, it was incredible as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, and the people that went to go see it in theaters, I unfortunately didn't get to go. I was going to. I had my tickets. I had to eat them because I realized they weren't even refundable. So I had to eat it because I went to the Orange Bowl. Which is why I, of course, had to rock fins. I had to rock shout out my guy Javon Holland. Sco Ducks, they won today. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, from what I heard, and I know some people that went, they said it was incredible. They said that a buddy of mine actually said that it felt like Avengers Endgame in there because like people were going crazy with whether reveals and things happening throughout it. So in terms of my thoughts, I agree with you for the most part. I thought they landed the plane. I thought they closed out everyone's storyline nicely. And we'll talk obviously some details. I don't think it was perfect, but I do think, like, I'm glad it ended nicely. Like, right, we talked about it last week how important the finale will be in terms of how finales are in general. Like people, the first thing people think about of a show sometimes is the finale, and the fact that it was, in my opinion, successful in my eyes. Like I thought they landed the plane as well. I think that's gonna leave people with a better taste than specifically part two, right? Part two was very divisive, and a lot of people did not like that. But overall, I really did like it. I liked most of it. I liked a lot of it. I like where a lot of characters ended. I specifically, and we'll start here. We'll start right. This is, again, I didn't say it again. I missed. This is spoilers, all right? If you're here, you better be prepared to be spoiled, all right? Because we are not holding back. We're talking about everything, and with that, we're starting at the very end, dude. I'm starting with the last scene
Okay.
because that was, I think, a perfect actual ending in terms of the final, scenes of this show. I thought it was so well done to start it with a D&D scene from season one and end it with a D&D scene. I thought was perfect, and then kind of a passing of the torch situation where he's, looking at Holly and her friends picking up and going to play a game. I thought that was perfectly and well done. And everything that went into that. And there's one specific that I will save, but I like where they closed those five characters. Yeah, because it was Will, Max, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. So I like where those five ended for the most part. But I don't know. I really really liked that ending. I think the fact that they were able to nail that final scene, and it's very heartwarming, and it's very like, I mean, literally, I mean, that's how the show started and that's how it ended it. So, I thought it was well done. We're thinking the final scenes. We're starting from the back. All right, we're not we're gonna jump around here, but we're starting from the back.
No, I like it, dude. I thought that was just an elegant, beautiful, just like truly putting a bow on it all the way ending. I thought it was perfect. Like you said, it literally started the same exact way it ended. Like it showed the sprinkler, then the kids in the basement, and it was the same shot, the same layout.
Yeah.
Everybody sitting the same. So I thought that was really cool. And then it's kind of cool too, because all the theories that they were just playing D&D the whole time. Not that, but it was also like it did pay tribute to the fact that is how this all came about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that was awesome. I thought all the stories were incredible. Like it's kind of bittersweet because everybody really did get the perfect layout for their story. Like Lucas and Max live happily ever after, building a life together, and Will's accepted himself and he's thriving, at a bar, and he's being social.
Yeah.
And Dustin's at college and he's a scholar and he's thriving. And then it got, to the other people, and
well,
L is up.
Wait, let's save that. Let's save that.
Okay.
We'll save L, because I just specifically want like that D&D and the part of like those girls inviting them to the party, and then Mike's like, no, I have a better idea, and then boom, it's with them playing D&D. I thought was a better and actual ending. We'll get to L. We'll save L for a little bit, because L, I think that's definitely the most interesting conversation. So we'll tease it. If you're watching this, you're gonna have to stay a little longer for us to talk about L. Okay. So let's touch on a few things throughout the episode. I'll now kick it back.
All right.
In terms of not something I didn't like, but something that didn't work for me, but I heard worked really well in the theater and stuff. I thought the Steve fake out death, there was no way they were gonna kill him. That would have been the most unceremonious death of all time if he would have fallen off that roof. I would have been like, no, I don't know. I just never believed it. But that's where we're starting. Steve fake out death, because obviously all the noise of like who's dying. If they would have killed Steve like that, that would have been insane. But I never thought they would have done that.
Yeah, maybe it was because of the tension was so high in my living. Like I was like I was watching a Dolphins game. I was like hands on my knees, standing up in front of the TV. My wife's behind me on the couch. I'm doing the like how you like the vibe check with her. I'm like, you're seeing this? I'm seeing. Okay, how you feel? All right, cool. That's how we did the whole 2 hours. So I will be honest, it worked in my house. We bit. And I thought, oh my god, they're like, because I told you like they teased it like it's going straight into action, and I was like, holy shit, they're gonna throw Steve out the picture immediately. Like this is gonna be pure chaos. And then I'll be honest, the freeze, the black screen for 3 seconds, we were like, and then I will say they didn't kill him and they saved it. Jonathan of all people was there to catch him, and I thought that was a cool revelation.
I thought that was
kind of bring it back around and tie everything together. And then obviously we seen later they had a good talk, on their walk once they get into the abyss. So we took it and we thought it was real. So it worked for us.
I love that. I'm with you. I really like that it was Jonathan who saved him. I thought that was a nice little added touch. But with that, the plan, obviously, it jumps right in, right? The action, it does really pick up really quickly. They jump right into the plan of, you've got the kind of the I guess it's really, the three kind of separate story parts of like, you've got Hopper, L, 8, and I always forget the Murray. Murray. They go do their thing. You've got Max and Robin's girlfriend, who I don't know her name either. They're at the
Vicky.
Is it Vicky? They're at the radio station, and then you've got the rest of them together on their hunt to go to the actual world, the whatever dimension. And let's start with, we're not going to talk about the ending yet, but the one thing that I really liked about this finale, and we kind of touched on it a bit last episode, was that they've really sidelined a lot of people. And I do think that there were definitely people who were sidelined in this. I thought, honestly, for the most part, almost everybody was kind of sidelined to an extent, minus Hopper and 11. And they were definitely given the most to do. And one of my notes, and what I liked the most about it, is that 11 finally felt like a main character again, because they made this episode, for the most part, surround her and Hopper. And 8, obviously, who I do want to acknowledge was absolutely wrong on 8. 8 ended up being not
That's
a
on
bad
us.
Matt. Yeah, that's on us. That's on us. 8, Callie, she ended up being actually a good guy. So we were really like, I was like, is she the mind flayer? Like, no. She ended up, she sacrificed, or not really sacrifices herself, because she does just kind of get shot. But we'll talk about the ending later. But I think my favorite scene of the entire episode was the Hopper Vecna scene. Dude,
Oh, boy.
dude, that was, first off, incredible. And he got me. See, like, where the C fake out that didn't really get me. I actually did think he shot 11. Not that I thought she was gonna die, but I was like, oh, this is just a huge wrinkle in this on spot. Like, and then the fact that Vecna was in his head, showed him 11 and 8's plan, and then, gives him the fear of that he just killed basically his daughter. I thought all of that was really well done. And just in general, the Hopper 11 Kali side of things, I thought was the best part of the show. And really finally elevated them back to that main character status, who they were definitely missing from part 2.
Yeah, and I think you nail it with the main character thing, because like the fear was back, right? Like the stakes were back with Elle. It was like, okay, this is like, it's Elle or nothing here, boys. And then like, so what got me with the Vecna and Hopper thing was, I thought like, I knew that like Vecna was maybe the ploy, but when he snaps out of it and he realizes he shot the tank, I'm like, okay, whether the Vecna thing was fake or not, he did shoot the tank.
Yes,
like,
yes.
So, and dude, when he opens that tank and she's got eyes open in the helmet under the water, I was like, dude, I was like, no.
I thought that like, I thought maybe that she wasn't dead, but like, I was like, oh man, like she's, the rest of this episode, she's gonna have bullets in her stomach, and they're gonna have to figure something out.
Well, dude, they had her eyes open. I was like, oh my God. And dude, could you imagine if that was how she died? Like, could you imagine if after all this stuff that Hopper's been through, he kills his second daughter after losing his first daughter?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that would have took some kahunas. Talk about big balls. That would have been something. But dude, so he busts the tank open, he gets her out, and she's like, what have you done? And then I go from being sad to pissed at Hopper. I'm like, dude, you folded. You freaking folded.
He did. I mean,
dude, he played you.
Vecna owned him. Like, Vecna,
that was
bad. That he was in his bag, dude. Vecna was cooking at this point. He's like, how the hell am I gonna, like, I can't. He kind of realized, I guess I can't really defeat 11 myself, so I'm just gonna have to like get her the hell out of this place, because and I thought that was the coolest scene. I thought that was like the most tense and actually like anxious scene, where I was like, anything can happen right now. I thought, maybe is this where Hopper goes? I was like, well, I don't know where they're taking this, and where they took it, I loved it. I really did love that part of the episode.
No, that was truly amazing, and we'll get into it more too. And I want to give it more credit as we get to it. But dude, Jamie Campbell Bower,
yes,
is a freaking dog, dude.
Yes,
he is so good at that role, and he's such a good actor. I think that because he came in late, and because you see him as Vecna more than you do like Jamie or Mr. Whatsit, or even the kid. It's like, I think we overlook how good he is. He probably is the best actor in the show.
I agree with that. I think he's given the best performance for sure. And he moves from creepy to menacing so easily, and then even like
charming
and almost they make you feel for him, right? And specifically in that scene, which I do want to get to. I'll hold that a little bit toward the end, because I do want to touch on that big fight. But yeah, I think he deserves so much credit, and I'm with you. Even in season 4, I thought it was the same thing. I thought he was the best part of season 4, right? And so the fact that he was able to bring it again, essentially, I thought he was incredible. But I want to stick with the Hopper 11 story, because the second part of that, right, of when they're out and they're like, how do we, figure out, and that's when the army raids, right? They come in, that I don't even know that guy's name. That guy's a douchebag, like the whatever one of that army guy who's got a vendetta against really Elmore Hopper. I thought that scene of like when they show up, I thought that scene was badass. Hopper saving Elle and then having to go back and save Callie, yeah, and then he's popping people, but then this guy gets the
Yeah. No, for sure. Oh, dude, that was incredible. Yeah, yeah.
that whole like everything with Hopper and 11 in this episode up to this point was freaking crazy. Like it was so good. So good.
Yeah, I think dude, so Murray is low-key been like one of my favorite characters the entire show.
Yeah.
And but he's always been like that, like crazy, arrogant, like dude, guys like conspiracy theorist, phenomenon guy, comedic relief, kind of that role, right? Where's my vodka? So for him to come through like in the ultimate situation in the finale,
for sure,
and he even realizes it in the moment. Like they did a good job, but you feel the characters the way they feel to you. So like he was even kind of like looking at the C4 like, okay, Murray, let's do this. Like he knew that wasn't really his role, but he knew he had to do it, and he jumped off the side and threw that thing down and blew up the helicopter.
Was I the only one that thought that he was gonna like actually kill himself? Like I thought he was gonna jump from the thing. And,
you thought he was going like?
I thought he was gonna jump like into the helicopter,
jihad style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I thought he was gonna jihad that thing and take down the chopper. But I mean, listen, I think the Finns should look into hiring Murray at QB1 because that was a toss. All right, that was a toss and a half. But yeah, so that's a big part before we get to the other dimension. With that also, right, 11 and 8 before, Vecna takes her out of the tank essentially. Them going through basically getting Max, and then 8 and her are going through kind of Vecna's memories. The one thing I will say, and I think this is where I kind of have a slight issue. I would have liked to see more of that. That felt a little bit rushed of how they had to get to Vecna's house so quickly. It was all happening so fast, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like the first 20 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And in actuality, the reason they did it is because the epilogue is so damn long that realistically, this episode, if it was just the episode without the epilogue, would have been an hour. Like I think it's like an hour and 5 minutes, and the rest is epilogue. Yeah. So I would have liked a bit more there. I would have liked them exploring that, like if there was like that time, because we talked about it, right? The potential time travel element of it, and so like they did it to an extent. It's just in memories, and obviously we had seen that already from Max's POV. But like I think it would have been cool because she even mentions how many more memories he has. Like maybe there's different memories they could have taken through. I don't know. But I just felt a little rushed. Like they're like, oh wait, let's take this shortcut, and then all of a sudden they're at the house already. I'm like, well, okay, wait a second. But overall, I mean, I like that inclusion. How Max, like, because at first when Max was walking in the water, I was like, oh, did Vecna get to her again? Like I'm like, oh shit, like this is going to be another wrinkle. And
I was going to mention that. I absolutely thought, I was like, oh, they're killing, like Max finally gets out of her coma, and Vecna's just going to kill her right out the gate.
Bring her back.
So like that's another thing they did well though. You thought Max was getting killed by Vecna, and they were nowhere to be found. So Vicky wasn't going to stop that. And then Steve almost dies. So they're starting out. I was like, oh wow. They're like, dude, they're not holding anything back. But then she just ends up being in the memory or in the mind of Elle with Khalid. So I'm with you on that one. I thought they were for sure killing Max.
By the way, when you just brought up Steve again, and I just realized, like, is that the Duffer Brothers just trying to tease, right, his death with the Funko thing? Remember we talked about it last time? Like, of him falling off. Maybe, I didn't even realize it in the moment, but maybe that was just a way to get people to really believe that they would just launch him off the top of off the building. Because
I think they did.
In that little demonstration,
It was a little different, but yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. I think they gave it to you right in front of you so you would believe it. But it was kind of like, yeah, he fell, but he didn't fall off.
Yeah. So then we've got the other part of, all right, so they're in there, they get taken out, the kids are going to the cave, and they think that they're safe. And then Henry finally builds up the courage to enter the cave, right? So this is a pro and a con. I think his performance was incredible. I've loved that part of him going in there and battling his demons, and also like the kids realizing like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like this guy's actually entering the cave. And then he goes obviously through he sees the moment again, right? I need a bit more information on the damn Mind Flayer because I don't get it, and I've been seeing things and I have to watch more videos. I know there's that play, and I know we touched upon it, I think in the first time we did this, that there is a play that dives more into that backstory, but like I didn't see the freaking play. So like I have no idea, like is the briefcase like is that government made, or is that like
right.
I
like what is that guy running from?
Yes, exactly. Like,
where did what's the context?
I need more context there that I think they could have built in. Is, you know, they cut the epilogue a little bit and then they add a little bit more context to this thing, because I had no idea, and people were like, oh, how do you not I mean, I saw the play, so of course I know. It's like I didn't see the freaking play, so like I have no idea. I'm like have no idea what you know, like this even more significance of it. But yeah, I mean, I wish I did, and I got to watch more videos maybe to figure out the play's plot. But it felt like it was something was missing, and it kind of felt like this part, like this kind of middle-ish part, felt a little bit rushed of them having to get to the big final battle. That was still only midway through the episode, like, you know what I mean? So like, I think again, and we'll touch on the epilogue, of course. My big issue with the epilogue, I think the epilogue was just a little bit too long. I like a lot of it, but a little too long. Because it made the first half feel so rushed that and we'll get to the final battle now, but yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have known more of the Mind Flayer. I don't know if you did when you're watching it, but yeah, I was just like, it left me with so many questions, and then all of a sudden they kind of drop it until then there's the big Will and Vecna scene, which I thought was great, which we can touch upon next as well. But what do you think of the cave in general?
Yeah, I think that's when Jamie Campbell Bower kind of took over this show. That's when I realized, oh, okay, this isn't a kid that grew up on this show. This is an actor. Yeah. This is like, that's when it was like, okay, we're dealing with something special here. And I talked to my buddy about that too. It's just like, these kids got put into these roles and they've kind of grown up, and some of them outgrown the role, but it's kind of like they've been the character this whole time, so they kind of gotta be. This was a plug and play all-star. This was like a big free agent acquisition, and he just proved it. Like from the cave and fighting his demons to going in the cave to like chasing the kids to like seeing his old memory, and he's just like sweating and crying, and he's getting shot, and he's feeling it, and Will's feeling it, and it's like, man. And then like you said, we'll get into it, but like that's exactly where this goes. When Will's in his mind and he's realizing, they all realize together. And that's kind of how it just took off. You didn't know Will was really with him. Yeah. Like in his mind, when they seen how he became, you know, the Mind Flayer, or the Mind Flayer took over him or whatever, you know, Will's like, it was never you. Yeah. It was never you. Like, you can help us. You're just like me. You're just a kid. Mm-hmm. Honestly, too, I don't know if you've seen it or not. That's a little flex by Will. Because remember, he was like, you're just a punk kid. You're weak. He was kind of like, you were a weak kid. He kind of played you. Mm-hmm.
No, and so I'm with you. That was probably, outside of I mentioned the Hopper Vecna scene, this was probably my second favorite scene. I thought that was so well done, and my favorite part about it though was that they did not turn him. Like I thought for a second they were like, oh, this is the moment where Vecna's or you know, he joins them to defeat the Mind Flayer. I love that they did not do that, because yes, he is a broken person, but he even says himself, like, he's like, no. Like, yes, but no, I also chose this. Like, he showed me things, and I love that they didn't turn. There's so many things nowadays, and I'll take some shots at some, specifically, whether it's the MCU or Star Wars, two of my favorite franchises. They've been doing this thing lately where there's no bad guys. Everyone ends up becoming good. No, like yes, like he is a broken person, and he definitely got manipulated, but guess what? he's still a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, and they still have to fight him, and they still, I mean, they can't forgive all the bad things they do that he did to them. So I like that they didn't turn him. I like that they didn't give him that redemption. I like that they made you feel like, oh man, I do feel bad for him though. But then he's like, screw you though. Like I'm still rocking with my guy Mind Flayer. Like that. I loved that decision.
Yeah, that was one of two, and you probably know what the second one is after I say this, but that was the first of two things the Duffer Brothers did that I respected that had to happen for the sake of the plot and the story.
Yeah.
And like it or don't like it, they had to do those things. So yes, they give you enough to make you feel bad for him. Will sees it. You think he's convincing him, like, oh, he's vulnerable. His memory could persuade him, and you think there's a chance he might flip. But yeah, like you said, I honestly respect Henry Krill for being like, you thought wrong.
Yeah,
Son, I hate people.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
hate humans.
I still hate you though. Yeah, exactly. Like, and again, it's back to his performance. Like he was like, you think he's so broken, he's so close to turning, and he's like, but you're wrong. Like I made this decision. Like that scene alone was so freaking good. I loved everything about that.
The sweat, the tears, and he's like, he doesn't make me do anything, and I don't make it do anything. We are one. And I thought that was awesome because he is one. So I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, and then with that, obviously that turns into you see the Mind Flayer waking up, right? And that's where the rest of the crew is, right? The rest of the crew, up until this point of the episode, outside of Jonathan saving Steve, hasn't really done anything because there's no, they weren't fighting anybody. They got into the world and they're just approaching and then that's when the Mind Flayer wakes up, and that's when you realize that he's been using the kids and he's been using him to basically either revive or I guess charge. I mean, I don't really know. Again, I don't know too much about the damn Mind Flayer because they want to freaking explain him to me outside of a play. But he wakes up, and I thought whatever it is, looked incredible. All right, because that creature was scary as hell, and its awakening was pretty cool to see, and I'm sure in a theater that was probably sick. Like that's where you were talking specifically like on the cinematic moments. That was a cinematic moment for sure. And then obviously what's to come, we'll definitely touch on. But yeah, I thought the creature design was cool, and he even looked a little bit different because obviously we've seen the Mind Flayer before, and obviously he kind of does look like a spider. But like I feel like they made him even more of a monster in this one, like a creature, like his big. You see his big teeth open up, kind of like. I don't know. I thought the creature design was sick.
How about somebody told me this, and speaking of how he looks, they said that you remember Elle split his head in season 3. That's why it looks. That's how he looks like. They kept that. It's like a scar how his face is split.
I didn't remember that. That's a cool detail.
Also, in Will's room, season 1, the Mind Flayer is on the poster on the wall.
Yeah. Oh. Really?
Like it looks like a tree, but it's a spider with his legs up in the middle of a desert.
Cool.
That's on his wall, season 1 on a poster.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy because obviously, like the Vecna part of it was a later addition. They didn't have Vecna created in their minds in season 1, but it's great to see because they've even said it. They knew how they wanted to end Stranger Things, right? And obviously, I think it was more in the fact of one, the Mind Flayer fight stuff. And 2, where every character would end up. And so it is pretty cool that they were laying those Easter eggs so early on. But with that, we now get the big battle time. All right. This was the big climactic moment of the entire episode, and this is the entire gang going up against the Mind Flayer, right? Because you've got Elle, who at this point is no longer in there, but she's basically going to use her jump. I would have liked to see it, but you know what? I'm not going to take any points off of that. But like, whatever. She's like, I can do this, and Hopper's like, that's too far. She ends up obviously doing it. They don't show it, but she gets up there, and then her scene of the initial battle that she has when she jumps.
Yeah.
L, and then Will jumps in eventually to take down Vecna. So a couple things. One, what did you think of that fight? Let's just say specifically the Vecna L scene. And two, do you think Vecna was defeated too easily? Because I think I think he was. I think they nerfed him a little bit, but I want to get your opinions first, and then because I liked most of the fight.
Yeah, that's the big dialogue, right? That is the biggest one, and that'll be the biggest dialogue forever. One.
Oh, I think there's one bigger. I'll tell you that much, but we'll get into that one after.
Yeah, you're right. There actually is a conspiracy.
Yes.
An untapped potential conspiracy, honestly. And it's built that way. But I will say this. I'll go back just a little bit for what you said. They don't show her jump, but I think that was kind of well designed when you see that they were about to get ate by the Mind Flayer. Yeah. And he just gets smacked in the face with a boulder. You're like, who the fuck
you're right.
boulders up here?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, of course, it's 11. Course, and it was funny as shit because they zoom out and you just see a little girl way across the desert.
Yeah.
It's like, holy. And then, like you said, and that's what I was hitting at earlier, absolute cinema. I know that with the colors and the surround sound, I know that was incredible in theaters. Mm-hmm. When 100%. She jumps, I mean, dude, it was like, I can imagine the uproar in that freaking theater when she rips the chest, cuts through, pulls Vecna straight down. Now, this is where, it was kind of, Vecna was clearly nerfed. I mean, after what we've seen at the end of part 1, when he looked his best form, that's what I'm saying. Like, we were sitting here like, oh no, this dude done got on Ozempic. He's been juicing. He clearly hired Arnold Schwarzenegger for a 90-day program. Like, this is not good, folks. And then for him to be trapped in a 10x10 stomach, wherever this was, and Elle was just kind of having her way. And I'm like, I get it. Like, you're stronger, he's stronger, but like, he wasn't touching her.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. She was botting him. Like, I mean, every time I guess they faced up, she owns him. Like, that is like she is. I'm trying to think of an analogy here, but she just owns him. Like, she has his number. But like he didn't really put up that much of a fight. Like, I would have liked a little bit more back and forth between them because the entry point was so sick. And then, they have like some minor dialogue. But then like we've seen what Vecna could do just 3 episodes ago. Like, this guy walked in looking like Darth Vader, murking people. And then he's just kind of like getting destroyed by Elle every left and right. I do think they nerfed him a bit. However, I do like how they closed it, right? Yeah. Like, I liked that it was Elle dominating him, but like he's holding his might to like not to kind of avoid the inevitable, and then Will comes in, and then that's where Will pretty much helps finish the blow to get him onto that spike and essentially not necessarily kill him yet because that comes a little later, which I definitely want to shout out the person who has not done anything the entire season. My girl Joyce finally did something.
Come on.
And she freaking decapitated his ass. And I loved how they did it where it cut to each character, right? And seeing how much pain that this guy has put them through. And then it ends with Will and Joyce specifically because no one's been affected more than them two. And then, I mean, maybe 11, but, them two, in terms of, I guess, normal humans. And she just final blow, head on the ground. I thought it was nice that because we were talking about like who would kill him. I like that they got everyone involved, right? Obviously everyone getting their licks on the Mind Flayer, but then Vecna himself, Elle, and Will kind of really finished him off, and then Joyce just said, "Oh yeah, hold this." She even drops an F-bomb and then just decapitates him. I thought it was cool. I thought she deserved that moment. And I liked how they did it. I like how they panned to each person so you can see, and it's kind of. In doing so, like kind of like reminiscing on the show, like on the other seasons of like, holy shit, like how much has happened to get to this exact point. So I like how they closed it. I think yes, he was nerfed. I do think he was killed a little bit too easily. And I think it was the fight itself was a little rushed in itself, but I liked the entry point and I really like how they closed it. So.
Yeah, I think since you just laid it out and it really let me process it, so I appreciate you doing that. But I also
Gotcha.
think that gave me my answer and why I'm kind of okay with the kill scene, because if it takes any longer, you probably lose, right? That's kind of like, as you just broke it down, I think if you spend 35 minutes with Vecna, he's going to eventually get, it only takes one. And the one part that I think you overlooked a little, and it's why I'm okay with it happening the way it did, is he was basically killing 11 he was going through 11's face right there. Will came into his mind and held his hand. So he was fixing to gore 11 right through the head. She literally was about just taking it. She was ready for it.
Yeah.
And Will comes into his mind, holds back a little bit, restrains him from, going all the way through her face. And then Will obviously is like, I'm not scared anymore. I'm not scared. And he like snaps his arm, rips it off, and then 11 goes and pushes him through the spike. So I think that, yes, obviously we'd love to see this go on for 35 minutes, but the reality of it is they had to get him and they had to blindside him. If you're going 35 minutes with Vecna, we know this from the past. You're not, eventually he's going to get the best of you. He has the killer blows that no one else does. I think even 11, who has a lot of awesome traits and a lot of power, she doesn't really have that scare. Like, if I get one shot, I'm got you. Like, she wasn't coming out in episode 4. We were talking about how cool that was, how Vecna was just extend the arm right through your face. And he was about to turn 11 into a kebab. And I think because Will saved it, no one really gives that enough credit. 11 essentially lost that battle if it goes one more second. And Will really prevented us from seeing that.
Yeah, and there's also the other thing too, that at the moment I wasn't really thinking about it, but it kind of popped in my head now. I mean, the rest of the gang is like beating up the Mind Flayer to a point where like he's also being weakened every second by fire and stabs, and so he was taking a lick from like, again, 30 main characters. So I listen, again, was he nerfed? Probably a little bit, but
yes,
I think that it's still still really well done, and again, I really do like how they ended that, how they killed him essentially, because loved, again, didn't turn him, and they actually freaking killed him. And that was the moment I was like, I was in. And then it's crazy because I'm like, all right, well, there's still like an hour left in this thing. Like, what the hell? Like, so we'll move past that, right? And everyone's celebrating. Everyone thinks it's all good now. We just won. We found the one. That was easy. And obviously us as viewers know that's definitely, one, the calling card of like something crazy is about to happen. And then 2, obviously, since there is so much time left, we're like, well, all right, well, there's about to be now a war with the army. But they don't go that way because there's not really a battle. There's a big moment, and we will now touch on this. This is definitely the biggest point of the episode, and definitely the biggest talking point from this episode, of whether or not Elle is dead. And Elle, in this scene, right, they get blindsided by the army. They're all taken in handcuffs. They're all taken to, they're basically arrested, and like, where's Elle? Where's Elle? And then you just see her on the other side. And at that moment, you think like, oh, she's doing it. Like, this is going down. Like, is this about to happen? How are they going to get out of this? And then, she has that scene with Mike that I thought was great. And then, boom, shit blows up. And from what we believe at that time, is she is a goner, right? She is dead. And then, boom, 18 months later, epilogue. All right. Firstly, do you think Elle is dead?
Oh man, that's tough. It's like, what does the heart want? The heart definitely wants the alt ending. The heart definitely wants she's in Iceland somewhere in a beautiful place far away, living off the land.
With her 3 waterfalls.
I mean, everything that he spelled out is possible. Like, it's plausible.
I wanted to go back and rewatch that scene, by the way. I haven't done it yet, but I want to see, like, were those cannons firing? Because, like, I mean, it could be a thing.
They confused me a little bit with the cannons on that last, because it was like they were, like, killing them. Like, the first scene when Kali was still alive. It had them, like, on the ground, curled up. But then there was, like, moments where they were, like, fine. So, like, it was like, they really confused me with that whole deal. It was like there was a little bit of holes there with that whole thing. Also, I do want to touch on this. I think this was another moment where the Duffer Brothers wrote this so well to misguide you, because they end it and they're like, Murray, go ahead and hit the music. And he turns on Prince, this is how doves cry. And you're like, it was the Prince song, because there was going to be a song that no one's ever used before. And it's like everybody thought Prince because of the error. And so they're playing Doves Cry. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's so perfect. Like they're riding in the 18-wheeler. That was not the Prince song they were talking about. And brother, when her and Mike were having their moment and they started showing those young kid flashback L moments and Purple Rain came through those speakers, I'm not afraid to admit this. Me and my wife cried baby tears, man. That hit me so hard. Dude, Purple Rain and the flashbacks, and you're like, she's sacrificing herself. That was incredible work by them. That was absolutely incredible work by them.
I thought everything there was so well done, and so everything perfectly placed. The music, like you mentioned, Purple Rain. I saw some people, Dog and Mike's performance. I thought it was fine. It's two people. Him realizing, he's basically losing his love forever. I am with you in the sense of what the heart wants. I also do think she is alive, though. Like, I really do. I don't think she's dead. 2 reasons. 1, again, the Duffers, they can't kill anybody of importance. And 2,
Jesus Christ.
I obviously do want to believe that. But I think that it was too detailed for, like, I guess he is the storyteller, so maybe I'm contradicting myself, but, like, I don't know, like, I feel like she really is alive. Like, I feel like they would have done that. Like, they wouldn't have done that without that being the actual plan. I know they say they want you to think and create your own speculation, but, like, I don't know,
Right.
like, why end it like that? Like, I don't know. I think she's alive. I think she's alive.
Yeah, the only parts that are a little weird for me is, like, everything was plausible as far as, like, it could have been Kali. She could have done everything they said.
Yeah.
The only thing that was a little weird is, like, when Hopper comes back to that room when Kali originally got shot, she's dead on the ground. There wasn't, like, there wasn't, like, she wasn't leaning on the wall bleeding out like, y'all go. Yeah. Like, she was kind of already gone. Yeah. So that's, maybe they put that right in front of you so you can understand that, it wasn't possible really, but you can believe what you want. Yeah. Also, the kryptonite or whatever, the sirens are still going off. So, like, they say that how far could 11 got away so she could use her powers again? That, technically speaking, that was Kali using the mind moment, and Kali kissed Mike. It wasn't really 11. So that's also weird. We could talk about it, but, like, that's also, like, I don't believe they would do that. It would just be bad writing, if anything.
Yeah, I think that was definitely 11 got far enough to do it, I would assume.
Okay.
That's a good point, but the thing is also, like, with the kryptonite cannons thing, like, the reason why I do believe, like, why would they set it up as, like, she wouldn't have been able to use her powers anyway? But with that logic, neither kind of would have Kali to by the setup, or I don't know, maybe she was too far and she could have done it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that maybe it's just me wanting to believe that she's alive, but I think she is. I think she is. I think she's getting. I think everyone got their happy ending. I think every single person did it, and I truly do believe that she did it to sacrifice herself. Because she really is still sacrificing herself because she's leaving everything behind. She is not going to stay with Mike. She's not staying with her dad. She wants them to believe that she is gone. But the talk that she had with Hopper, where it's like, you can have all of this. Like, you can still have the family. You can still have... It's like, yes, like, she realizes, yeah, maybe I can't do it with Mike because they'll forever hunt me for the rest of my life. But I can still have my life. Right. And I think that's, again, it's just maybe me wishful thinking, but I really do think that I think she made it out. That's my definitive stance. Elle is alive, all right?
That's what I want to believe too, for sure. The way they wrote it out, the storyteller, it was a perfect ending. When you see her, like, walking across that, on that ridge, looking over, seeing the waterfalls, and she's in a beautiful Iceland, it's like, this is much better than what we had to live with for the last 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So, we already talked about the actual ending, but I want to see, Bobby. Now we enter the epilogue. The epilogue again was really long. It really was.
Yes.
But let me try to recap essentially where everybody ended up, and then I want to ask, were there any endings you didn't like, and which ones did you like the best? All right. So we've got Dustin, valedictorian, gives his speech and he's dogging his principal. I love that part. Everyone's there, right? He's essentially living his best life. Like we mentioned earlier, he goes off to college, and then in his breaks, he's still hanging out with Steve, right? You've got Will, who's finally accepted himself. He's also going to, I think they said Milwaukee, and see him out of his comfort zone at a bar, seemingly meets a guy, and he's living again happily ever after. Then you've got Lucas and Max, who them together again continue their love, and they stay together, and they are moving forward together. Then you've got Joyce and Hopper, right? Joyce and Hopper. Hopper pops the question. I don't know why it took him another 18 months, but he pops the question, all right? But he does it. Then they end on their happy ending of them together. And then you've got the older kids who all link up. You've got Steve, who's a baseball coach, which I actually really liked. I think it's a fun, nice little note. And then obviously because they mentioned this season a bunch of times that he wants a bunch of kids. Well, now he's coaching a bunch of kids, and he's I don't know. I like that for him. Jonathan's at NYU. I did find Jonathan's to be, well, I guess we'll touch about that, if in any endings we don't like. Jonathan's there, Nancy's there, and Robin's there, and Robin is still the radio head. I think Nancy's dropped out of college, and she's now writing for a paper full time. And then Jonathan's in film school. So that's essentially where everyone left. Hopper is also back to being sheriff, which does prove that the images that were leaked were true.
We talked about that last time.
But
hinted at it. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's pretty much where everybody ends up. Murray's not in the epilogue, which I thought was a bit strange. Like, where the hell did he end up? They could have done like a 5-second, he's here. And then also Robin's girlfriend, I'm assuming they're still together, but she was not in the epilogue either. So who knows? To be honest. But I think that wraps up everybody. Obviously, there's a really nice scene with Will and Hopper, right? And then in this, like we mentioned, there's a lot of Will discovering and creating the story, the whole D&D stuff. But in terms of where everybody has left off, were there any that you didn't like, and which ones did you like the best?
Well, okay, so they showed Murray at the graduation sitting next to the teacher. He didn't get a direct epilogue, but he was at graduation.
Oh, I didn't even notice him.
Also, I didn't bring this up now that this is very going back. I'm sorry for this.
No.
Barb was in the Mind Flayer. Still hooked up. That was cool.
Shut up. Did I miss that? I know she was in the flat. I know they show her when they pan to Nancy when they're about to, and they're showing everything everyone's gone through. I saw her there. I did not see her in the actual Mind Flayer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she was still hooked up in the Mind Flayer. So yeah.
Holy shit! Are those people alive, or are they all dead?
I think Barb. So Barb died in real life. She's not coming back.
True.
So same for a couple people, but also we can put the rest that Eddie did not come back, unfortunately.
Yes.
So
yes, true.
I don't know how. They're right. There's no way to really make that happen. It sounds cool, but how the hell would that have worked?
Yeah.
Also, another big. This isn't really about the epilogue. Sorry, all the good shit's coming to my head. I'm so sorry. Where were the Demogorgons and the Bats? This is their homeland.
All right. Yep. All right, we're going back. Sorry, people. We are rewinding. We're all over the place. Very good point. Why the hell it was a cakewalk for these guys to get to the damn Mind Flayer? I mean, they didn't have to go through any. First off, they didn't even fight the army. They didn't have to fight Demogorgons, Demo Dogs, nothing. And it was a wasteland. Nobody was up there. I'm with you. I saw that comment. I don't know where they are, and I think that was a miss. And it's also probably they put so much money into the special effects for the damn Mind Flayer that they're like, dude, we can't do the Demo Dogs.
We can't afford the team of green bodies. We can't put the green suits. For the love of
God, we put in $5 billion into this thing. Can we save $100 million on the damn Demo Dogs?
What's funny about that too is they have a history of doing this though. We never seen a damn bat again after they killed Eddie. So like,
True.
it's not like
True.
that's
Yeah.
kind of their thing. Like except the Demogorgons, they've hung out. They've
Yeah,
been
they
around
have.
the Demodogs and the
Demo.
Gordon. Sorry, that's a lot of demos.
Yeah.
They've been around forever, but the bats never really happened again. That was a one shot thing. So, but going back to the epilogue, sorry, that just had to get that off my chest. It's kind of weird. That could have been exactly a perfect way though. When they're walking across that desert or whatever,
Yeah.
if they would have, had to hit some bats with, bats,
Yeah.
stuff like that, that could have been cool, but whatever. I thought, and because they took so long with the epilogue, that they really did roll everyone out like a perfect ending. And then also the Dustin, I don't know if you caught this or you've seen the correlation. Dustin, the way he performed getting the diploma was word for word what Eddie said he was going to do. I don't know if you remember that.
I kind of figured, I don't remember, I didn't remember that it was word for word, but I do remember, I mean, obviously the whole speech was basically dedicated to Eddie as he takes off. It's a Hellfire t-shirt. I loved all that.
No, yeah, it was word for word. So Eddie had a moment in the cafeteria when he said, I'm going to look the principal in his eyes, snatch that diploma, flick him off, and run the hell out of here. And that's exactly what Dustin did word for word. So I thought that was really cool. And then obviously he had the Hellfire Lives or whatever shirt on. So that was cool. But yeah, they pretty much rolled it out so long that everyone pretty much got the perfect ending except Mike. You really just felt for Mike.
Yeah.
Like Mike is the only person that lost. Mike and Elle, if Elle is alive, Mike just kind of got the shit end of the deal. He's all depressed on the bench. Hop is engaged now to Joyce. And they're living in that cabin, which that kind of pissed me off. It's like you couldn't do better than that. They're in the small cabin again, and Jonathan's taking pictures of them for Will's graduation. I thought, honestly, to be fair, I think Lucas and Max probably had the most chemistry and the most energy leaving the show. Like they're doing really good. Another plot hole that I've now seen people bring up, and it's a great point. Max was in a coma for 2 years, but she graduated on time.
Yeah, I did see that.
Also, that was a little bit weird. There was a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
If you want to be nitpicky, I'm not the nitpicky type.
I agree.
I like it. You can lie to me. You can put sparkles in my face, and I'm going, I like that way better. Like Elle being alive, it's the same stuff. So like, I'm not a big like nitpicker, but that's another good one.
Yeah. For me, really, I liked most of them. To be honest, the only one that I didn't love the older kids ending outside of Steve. Because one, Robin, I didn't mind Robin's either. I mean, I'm assuming she's just still with her girl. She's a shock droppy, whatever the hell it's called. She the shock jockey. She's still there. I like that. Nancy and Jonathan. I don't know. It was a little strange. I thought they were a bit. A bit weird, especially Jonathan, might be the worst filmmaker of all time in the sense of like he's trying to do this anti-capitalism cannibalism movie.
The more she eats, the hungrier she gets.
Yeah, and like, dude, you just went through the craziest thing of all time. Make that your movie, bro. Like you could be a science fiction king, and it'd be true events, and that's a stupid nitpick, but like I don't know, like he felt. Him and Nancy just felt kind of weird in that scene. But whatever. He's at school and she's going back to being a reporter. I did like Robin's nab or kind of like jab about like, did you join the army or something? Because like she was basically Rambo this season. I did like that. But yeah, I don't know. I found theirs to be like kind of less interesting and obviously, they broke up. It's very clearly they broke up in this episode. That's definitely very clear to me now. So. Yeah, I don't know, but everyone else, I like that Hopper and Joyce together. Everyone got their happy ending. I think Dustin's obviously is the most fun with the whole speech and where he ends up, but I don't know. Everyone got their happy ending. In my opinion, no one died outside of 8. 8 did die. 8 was the one. 8 was the sacrificial lamb, essentially, of the season, right? There's always that one. I think overall, though, still, I like the ending. I like how they closed everything out. Obviously, a few things that maybe I would have liked to go differently, but overall, man, this show is awesome. I freaking will remember this show very fondly. And I'm curious. Listen, knowing how big of a show this is, I would be shocked if this franchise is dead. I know there's an animated show coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a spinoff with Holly and friends. Oh, we're going back again. Shout out to the best the best line in the show was when Derek saves Holly. I got to shout out Derek because he flicks off Vecna and he tells him basically like I forgot what he says exactly, but along the lines of like eat a fat. I think it's eat a fat one.
Suck my fat one.
Suck my fat one. Yeah, incredible, Derek, incredible. But yeah, overall, man, a fantastic show. A show that I think will stay the test of time and will not be throned, like in the sense of like Game of Thrones. That all people can talk about is the bad finale. I don't think this will have the same effect. I think in terms of a season, I do think that this will be looked upon as a weaker season.
Yes.
But in terms of the actual ending, I think for the most part, people enjoyed it. And I think, first off, I enjoyed it, so I'm happy about that. But I think it won't have the same taste as Game of Thrones. And I'm very happy that the Duffer Brothers were able to close it so nicely.
Yeah, another complaint, because you brought that up. People talking about Vecna being nerfed. So now Derek is winning tug of wars against Vecna.
Yep,
So
yep.
it's like,
That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. Yeah, but of course, it's these main characters have plot armor, but yeah, I agree. It was absolutely. I will say I do have to say this as much as I did like it. My wife, not the biggest fan. I don't know how your wife felt about this finale. My wife, not the biggest fan of this series finale, to be quite honest. So she's part of the it's not as bad as Thrones one, but she thought it was a bit too rushed for her. Like she's like too many things were happening at the same time. So I do have to throw that out there.
like I said, as I looked over, wiping tears from my eyes, asking my wife what she thought, and she's wiping tears from her eyes. She was like, "Yo, it was really good." So like, we thought it was really good, and that's when I go back to. It's like, as much as I want to gripe, I remember during the battle scene with Vecna when they're in the belly or whatever. Like, I had goosebumps, and like, dude, that doesn't happen. So like, it clearly was impactful. Like, I had goosebumps. I cried later on with the purple rain moment. Like, so I do think they really delivered. I think the overall scope of work with this season, a little off, a little weird, a little dragged out. You know what I mean? They could have probably had more battle or more, like you said, backstory, prequel stuff to like how Henry Krill came about, or even the Mind Flayers' true purpose or meaning. So I think they missed in the overall scope of work, but like you said, they landed the ship or the plane, which at the end of the day is what really matters, because now it's rewatchable, right? You know that you can rewatch it. It doesn't, like Game of Thrones, they kind of just like decapitated the series. It was like insane work.
Yeah. All right, Bobby. Well, we are running a bit long here, but I love it. We got to, because it's the finale, and now we're entering our epilogue. All right. We are going to rank all 5 seasons. All right. From best to worst, or worst to best, whichever way you want to go about it, Bobby. I'm going to go best to worst. Do you want me to go first, or are you ready?
I am ready, but it doesn't matter to me who goes.
Go for it, Bobby.
We could go 1 for 1 if you want to go back and forth.
Let's do it. Let's go like a draft. We're almost draft, except we can both pick the same ones.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for me, the only correct answer for 1-1 has got to be season 4. I just thought it was to me, it was a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, every episode I was scared. Like, they were all getting snapped up. Vecna gets introduced. Eddie Munson, who's like a burnout, who you think you don't give a damn about, you end up being like so in love with and care so much about. And like, are the jocks going to find him and hurt him? Yeah. And then he like ends up sacrificing himself. And I like just the story and the Vecna and how it ends with like Max almost getting snapped and then finding Vecna and blowing him up, and the whole town like go cracks in half. I thought season 4 was just, the stakes were never higher. Every episode, I literally was stressed out. Like, every episode ended, I'm like, Jesus Christ, son, got sweat on my neck. And like, I thought season 4 was just a masterpiece.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you in the sense of, I'm not going to disagree with anything you said, because I agree. I love season 4. However, I do have it, and I'll just spoil it. I have it at number 2. I think it's phenomenal.
Okay, that's fine.
But
that's
I
fair.
do have season 1, the OG, is still my number 1. I think that for me, those are the 2 clear 1-2s. Like, I think I will never battle the order, right? If you like 4 over 1, as long as you got 1 and 4 in the first 2, And I'm sure, maybe you don't, but but for me, I think season one is so good. It's the one that introduced us to this world. I think that the mystery around it, and somebody who I'm not a big horror guy. Like I'm just not. I don't like to, whatever. This show locked me in from the beginning, and I've loved these characters. I love the storylines because it's a mix of sci-fi, it's a mix of horror, the nostalgic effect of it being in the 80s,
Yeah.
and so it for me, season one is still my favorite, and then I will snake it around, and season four for me is just as good, maybe just a hair under it. It's so everything you said is correct. Eddie Munson's incredible. It was probably the scariest in the sense of like I remember the beginning of that show watching it with my wife, and the initial Vecna kills of the arm snapping. Like I was like, they've taken this to a new level. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yes.
And so I thought season four was incredible. So for me, it's an easy 1-4.
Yeah, and season 4 could have some recency bias, of course. Like,
Yeah.
We going through the Eddie thing, and then obviously, like you said, it just took it to a new level. Like, we've seen things we didn't know were possible. Like, what? And I'll circle back. Season 1 is my number 2. So, season 1 completely different. It was more like mystery, suspense. You don't know what's doing the damage. And like they set it up, they didn't miss a detail. They introduced 11. She actually sacrifices herself at the end, you think? So like season 1 with the whole introduction and the mystery, like you said, it felt like old school sci-fi. Like you didn't see nothing that was out of this world, no CGI, nothing to blow your mind. It was just straight. They didn't have to beef it up. It was scary enough without even having to see a Vecna. So I think, season 1, absolutely. And like you said, you could go either way and I would understand.
All right, Bobby. Well, it's back to you in third place. Who do you got? This is where it gets very hard because for me, these next three are tough. But go for it. Hit me with your 3.
Yeah.
I think we're going to disagree a little bit, by the way. I feel like we're going to disagree a bit on these.
We probably will because I feel like mine's kind of edgy. With the third pick, I'm going with season 3.
Dude, me too. Let's go.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but to me, like, and season 3 was random in a sense. Like, we're building, it was just random with the Russian thing. But it's like, dude, the nostalgia of season 3, Billy, ultimately sacrificing himself and apologizing. Dude, Billy was a hell of a character too.
100%,
Billy really,
100%.
like, man, he added a different dimension to that.
He did.
Like, dude, he's macking on Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah.
He's beating up the kids.
He's a generational scumbag.
He's willing to sacrifice himself in a car wreck.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, Billy was, insane. But to ultimately find out his memories, see what kind of got him to that point, what he's been through. And then, dude, the mall was just like, dude, that was nostalgia.
Yes. A perfect aesthetic.
Yeah. So to me, that's season 4. Oh, that's another thing I didn't even mention. Season 4 with the freaking Russian prison.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was incredible.
Was awesome.
So yeah, season 3 for me, that goes in number 3. It was a little random. I do understand people's gripes about how the Russians get involved and like the prison, or not the prison, but the Russians get involved and all that stuff seems kind of far-fetched, but I really do love it. It was another step in the direction of what season 4 ended up being, of we see the Mind Flayer and what it can be. And it's just it's insane.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I thought that this is where we would differ, but I'm glad that we are on the exact same page because everything you just said is spot on. So I have 3 at 3. So at 4, I'm going to go with season 5.
Okay.
I am going to go with season 5 for 2 reasons. One, again, the finale. I really do like how they landed the ship. And I think there was enough good in season 5 in terms of big time moments that I still enjoy it. Caveat though, to be honest, I barely remember season 2 of Stranger Things. And that's why it's in last place for me. The only thing I remember from season 2 is a couple things. One, the Chicago episode, which is where we are introduced to Callie, 8 eventually, which I was not a fan of that episode from when it came out. I just thought it was so random. And I thought it was strange that they never really acknowledged it until this season. And then I remember Joyce's boyfriend getting killed, and the hospital ending.
Bob the Brain.
Bob the Brain. Yeah, I remember that part. But outside of that, I really don't remember shit. I can't. I For that reason, I remember season 1 and I remember season 3 so much more. I have to put it at last, and obviously maybe it's a little recently because obviously I know everything that just happened in season 5. I am gonna go season 5, but I think that these two, again, I don't know. I don't remember it, so who knows? But I think it could probably go anyway. But where do you got? Who do you got at 4?
Holy shit.
What happened?
The Miami Dolphins have brought on Hall of Famer quarterback ESPN analyst Troy Aikman as a consultant to advise the organization on his general manager search process. Sorry, that was very random and not
Breaking
Stranger
news.
Things.
Breaking news.
But Jesus
That's gonna be the clip.
Anyways, let me get back on track.
Yeah.
I have the finale at 4 as well. I think 1 because of the size and magnitude and just the pure cinema that it will end up being. It also felt the least like Stranger Things to me. It just got it got too big for itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it really did turn into its own thing. Things got too unreal, too big. And the nostalgia was kind of missing. Like the kids in the basement, that stuff really mattered. I don't think we realized how the small episodes of just kids being kids, riding bikes, flashlights, and basements were so important.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was very weird for me. But at the end of the day, that was the finale. It has the most significance. That ends up being the kind of the ribbon on the whole series. The Elle moment, who's probably the biggest character, obviously the face of the franchise. And either you think she's alive or not, it's still probably the biggest moment of the show. So for that alone and the ending, obviously you get closure and the death of Vecna and the Mind Flayer. It has to go at 4, and then I'll circle back. And yeah, you said it perfectly. You don't even remember season 2, and that's exactly why it's number 5.
Yes.
And I believe season 2 was the season where I think it was just a filler season, but they had to exercise will from the demon. So that was season 2, basically, is a lot of hospital trips, a lot of he's cold, but he's sweating, and they're trying to convince him that he's a good kid and all these memories. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
He's like, but they finally get it. They finally get out of the, they escape from the hospital, and Bob has to sacrifice himself and he gets ate alive. And that's kind of how that ends. But yeah, season 2 to me, a lot of filler, a lot of overkilling what ended in season 1, and Will just kind of like, they just kind of beat the dead horse with like Will and how he got infected and what really is going on. They didn't understand it. And season 2 was just, now don't get me, you got to have filler. Normally it's just filler episodes, but this was a filler season in my opinion. And it ended up being an incredible run of season 3, season 4, and even 5. So it all makes sense when it's all said and done, but season 2 has to be last.
Yeah, I'm with you. Wow, I thought that we might have a different ending here, and we have pretty much the exact same bottom 3. We've just swapped our 1 and 2. But again, I think we both agree those 2 seasons in particular are kind of a level above the rest, while the others are still enjoyable, though. Even the last place season 2, although I don't remember it, I haven't gone back to it, one day I will do a full Stranger Things rewatch, and I will have no problem watching season 2. So it's not like it's like I remember it being like, oh my god, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just when you compare it to the rest of them, it doesn't hold up as well. And I'm curious, 5 as 5 continues, where it stays ranked. But Bobby, we have now gone for over an hour. This is our longest one yet, but it was fitting because this is the ending of one of the greatest series of all time, one of definitely the most notable of the last 10 years. And so, yeah, I'm glad that we're both on the same page and we both enjoyed it. And so with that, Bobby, where can people find you?
The Dive Bar, here soon. There'll be a couple other places, but until then, the Dive Bar.
Yes.
The Dive Bar, and I was obviously show the guys love. Hondo Blockbuster, Stay Tranquilo, everything they got going on, we got going on. I guess I got to say we now. So we got going on.
Your contract states that specifically.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, come show us some love. We out here grinding, baby.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Well, as always, if you made it this far, thank you so much. we're excited to be doing. I mean, this is 2026. This is the first video of 2026, and we will be doing more movie drafts, more reviews, and more shows to come. But until then, as always, thank you as always, and see you at the movies.